Hey guys, hope you're all having a great day. So in today's project, we were working on the complete opposite side of what you're seeing. Back over here at my mom's house, we really just wanted to tidy up and clean up this space. I didn't know exactly what I was gonna work on today, but this is what we ended up doing. So you just saw all of the work, but here is the final product of what we were working on. So just as a reminder, this is a dragon's eye pine. It's a type of Japanese pine. I think it's a Japanese red pine. This is going to get about 25 feet tall, maybe 15, 20 feet wide, something around the lines of that. But this, I'm just gonna have fill up this whole space. I may end up planting stuff in here in the future if I find something that works, but this will end up taking up this entire space. Now over here, we originally cut the line for this bed when we worked on the entire yard project, but we just didn't have enough mulch to finish all of this. So you can kind of see where we picked up today. The only thing I'll mention about this mulch that is different is you can see that this chip, obviously it's lighter because it's a little more faded, but it's basically all wood chips. This one had some leaves mixed in and stuff like that, which, you know, it's not that bad, but it definitely gives it a little bit of a different look. We'll see kind of as it dries out like this one, what it ends up looking like. But it's a base layer. We can always put a finished mulch over this in the end. But a skinny strip goes through this way. It goes up to these arborvitaes. These arborvitaes we planted, I think in 2021, March of 2021, so they've been in the ground for a couple of years. They've actually grown quite a bit, even though there's a lot of shade from this tree in the morning and these trees in the afternoon. And then what I originally started off with this project doing was planting these red osier dogwoods, also known as red twig dogwoods. You can see a little bit of that color down there. So there's 1, 2, there is a third one there, 4, 5, and I actually originally planted these about 2 weeks ago. So when you saw them planted in the video, they look a lot different than they do now. They've actually grown quite a bit. And then moving on over here, we just cut this area. Devin was very kind to get rid of this entire brush pile. He chopped up all the stuff. We just threw it in long bags. So very happy that he was able to do that because that was not a project I like to do. And then we seeded all of this with grass seed. I don't know how well the grass is going to grow back here, but there is grass back here and it definitely gets some morning sun. The mix I put down was a stress mix, which is not necessarily the best mix for this, but it's just one that I had on hand. So I figured some grass seed is better than none. I can always reseed it in the fall if I need to, but at least it gets something growing here that wouldn't necessarily be weeds. So we'll see how that does. I'm just going to water that in probably 2 to 3 times a day, especially as it is hot over the next few weeks or so. But yeah, this area is finished for now. I'm not really planning on doing anything else for this season, just because I've done so much already. There's only so much, you know, you can really do in a season. But this is done. I just wanted to mention one thing about these dogwoods. So the dogwoods that we have planted down over here, they're very small right now, but they're actually kind of sentimental to me. In my plant propagation class, it actually wasn't me who did this, but one of my friends that I made, she actually put these together. We did a project where we were seeing how well things could root in. I did some blue hollies, which I have on a tray. I may have shown you that in a video, and those are going to be planted. And then she did these red twig dogwoods, and she was kind enough to give me 5 of these. They've been sitting in their containers. We originally started this in like February or so. I brought them home at the beginning of May when the semester ended, and they've just been sitting in these little tiny containers for 2 months now. So they needed to go in the ground. Obviously they really like where they are, and I figured they would be a good space back here because from my understanding, red twig dogwoods can do pretty well in the shade, and it is quite shady over here. As you might remember, we had the roses back here. Those did not like this space whatsoever, but these seem to be growing. And then the other thought, which let me show you with the camera. The other thought I had was these are supposed to get anywhere between maybe 6 to even 8 feet tall in the end. So they have plenty of room to grow. We can always extend out the bed if we need to. And then they'll have those bright red branches that'll grow up in the winter time, which will be backed by these arborvitaes, especially as they start to fill in. So I'm thinking a nice green backdrop, and then look at my tan line. Nice green backdrop, and then the bright red branches in the winter. And especially thinking about how in the winter we're not outside all that much. A lot of times we are like looking out from the sliding glass door, so there's not much to look at in this whole back area. You'll see the arborvitaes, those show up because they're nice and large, but I'm thinking if there's anything that would show up, it would actually be something like this, a very large shrub that has the bright red color to it, at least in the winter time, and then when we have snow it'll really stand out. Plus, from my understanding, I think they are a native plant to our area, so they're generally going to grow a little bit better than some other stuff, and I've gotten some comments from you guys about you know, asking asking me if I could plant some more native stuff. So definitely looking more into that. There's a few other things that I have in a future video I'll show you that are natives to this area. So it's something I want to work on and be a little more apt about, because I know there's a whole trend with that. So just wanted to put that out there. The only thing about these dogwoods is I think I do want to pinch them back because they only have one stem. So I'll give you an example. This plant right here, as you can see, the bottom has just an initial stem that grew, and then it was cut off, which my camera has a hard time focusing, so sorry about that. But it did split into two when that initially was cut off. And if I were to, let's say, pinch it right here where these two leaves are, there actually would be two more stems that would grow out from there. So that would make it a little bit bushier. So I might do that to all of these one time during this season, just because I think it'll help them get a little bit bushier. But even then, I think they're going to send out more like branches next season from the ground, because they are more of a shrub. They don't really grow from just a singular stem. That one I'm not going to touch because I just want to make sure it's doing okay. I think it's fine. I think it just either like something snapped on it or something ate it. But you can see it still looks pretty good in my opinion. So that's pretty much it. It was a lot of work to do in the heat. It was like 85 today, high humidity. So in the middle of summer, there's only so much I really can tolerate doing. Plus I'm working right now, so I have some time to do some gardening stuff, but it's kind of just getting things in the ground and just doing the stuff that's absolutely necessary. I'll wait for some cooler days to get a lot of the other things done. But I got a big project done today. I'm very happy that this is all cleaned up and that whole pile is gone. Very happy about that. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comment section down below. Besides that, I will see you guys in the next video.